Hey guys, so I want to talk about this really kind of heavy topic today with you because I connected with someone recently who had the experience of having a reading. In a tarot reading, somebody had channeled a message for them that they were going to die. They gave them a specific time limit and basically said, like, there's nothing that you can do about this. And of course, as you can imagine, it was very upsetting to this individual. And when I heard this, it was upsetting to me also on a lot of levels. Because this is not really what I believe readings are supposed to be about. And so I wanted to talk a little bit with you guys today about why this is happening, some things you can kind of investigate, and some things you can kind of talk yourself through to get a better understanding of what's actually happening in this situation, right? So if you're watching this right now, and you're freaked out that you're going to die and you want some answers, I hope that what I say can be helpful to you. If you are watching this as a reader, I hope that this will instill in you that people really do listen to very carefully to what you say, and it is important to be appropriate with the types of things that you share, the delivery in which you share them, and just being really disconcerting about how you operate and help people during your sessions. So let's just get moving on some of the topics because I'm sure some people are really freaking out like, am I going to die or what? What's the deal? So the first thing I would say to that is you really have to take into consideration two very important things. One, what level of experience does this person have? Are they new? Because if they're newer, they might not really understand where their information is coming from. They might, not be really well versed in like what's theirs and what's not theirs, like what's coming from spirit and what is being created in their mind, right? That's a really important distinction. The other thing too that I would ask if you can or figure out is who specifically, what energy, what type of entity or whatever is giving you this information, right? Like what are they connecting with that is giving them that information that is telling you you are going to die, right? Because like many things in life, there's duality in the universe, and there are really positive forces within spirit that are trying to help you. And there's also just some negative energy floating around that's not really attached or connected with that likes to cause chaos and trouble and, try to manipulate things for fun because it can, right? So you really need to figure out what type of energy is this person connecting to and where is this message specifically coming from? And so those are the two most important things I think that will help you the most if you are encountering this problem. There's a couple of other things going on here too that I feel like it's important to mention or to consider. The other thing I would say is, what is it for you that you connect to spiritually, right? What type of energy is it? Is it source energy? Is it spirit? Is it the universe? Is it God? Is it goddess? What is it that you connect to? And then I want you to ask yourself, how many times that energy has tried to hurt you or to frighten you or to panic you or instill fear, right? That's not the energy of spirit, and that's not how spirit works, right? So that energy might be coming from a different place. I know spirit sometimes challenges us and has us go through growth periods and lessons and stuff, which is like never fun. But it's not ever done, I think, to this degree where it's just kind of flat out smacking you in the face with some really terrible information and you just like deal with it, right? So I think that's another important consideration. Also, too, I do believe to a certain extent we have a lot of free will to make different choices about things. So if someone says you're gonna, die from like a bad liver, like, are you drinking all day, every day, right? Like, what are you doing, right? So I think part of it too is are we taking care of ourselves also? And that would be an important consideration. Also too, I really believe there's a lot of power in our mental state. And whatever we give power to is kind of what manifests, right? So if you are someone who's very negative, look at someone who's very negative, right? Look at the people they have in their life. Look at their life. Something's always going wrong. There's always shitty people taking advantage of them. There's a lot of stuff going around because they have a mindset of attracting a certain sort of energy because that's their belief system, right? So wherever attention goes, energy flows. So that's another thing as well. If you're worried about something happening, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. It can happen like that as well. Now, I will say there are some cases where there are some people who can really divine some pretty harsh information, right? The way that I've talked to people, most people that I've talked to, there's been warnings about illnesses or different things like that. And it's never been with the intent to scare anybody. A lot of times it's been with the intent to, hey, you have some stuff coming up, make sure that you are taking care of yourself, or make sure that you go do all the checkups and things you're supposed to be doing. A lot of times it will come up that way. I've never really had an experience personally where I've seen someone say you're going to die and it's happened. But you really have to decide too how much stock you want to put into somebody's reading as well. So I think that's also important. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that someone's going to tell you you're going to die and it's going to completely happen. Are people right sometimes? Yeah, maybe sometimes. But I think too, before you start freaking out and you start really worrying about things and making plans and contingencies for like end of life stuff, I think it's really important to pick apart the situation and then see from a rational perspective what you really think about what you heard, right? Because anyone can tell you anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. So I think that you have to consider the source, you have to consider everything that's going on around it, and then make your decision from there before you start panicking. Because I don't think it's necessarily like if someone says that, I don't think it's necessarily like a death sentence. I don't think it's end of whatever. I think it's just a situation that needs to be looked into more, and all the angles need to be considered. I think that when we're in a place of fear, what happens, there's scientific studies, the rational thought process in your brain will shut down and your common sense will kind of cease to exist because your body is in like a survival mode and it's trying to keep you alive. And you're coming from this place of a fear-based reaction. And so before you take things super seriously, I think those things are important to consider. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that gives you a different perspective and maybe makes you feel a little bit more calm about the situation, and gives you a place to start where you can really start breaking things down and analyzing and seeing if this is something that you're choosing to believe or something that you're like, you know what, after taking into account all these things, I'm not really sure I'm feeling this. See what works for you. I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to die, you're not going to die. I wasn't in your reading. I don't know what happened. If you would like somebody to talk to, if you want to do like a little mini, session or something with me, let me know, because I really feel like this is a really harsh thing to do to another human being. Some people do it because they genuinely think they're helping. Some people do it because it's a manipulation tactic. They're trying to get something out of you by telling you this stuff. So really be careful and aware of if this situation happens to you. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a really beautiful day.